Alrighty, everybody, welcome to Ziggurat Gaming. I am your host, not Zenin, but Pablo. Zenin couldn't make it today for unexplained reasons. I'm joined here with the ever so lovely Mike.
How's it going, everyone?
So here at Ziggurat Gaming, we kind of alternate between talking about video game news and the ever so rare review of an actual video game we've all played. This week we've got ourselves some spicy little news. And by spicy little news, I am 100% referring to the Nintendo uncensored porn on the Switch news, which is great news if you're me. So
I'm glad that they're taking the not Sony route of just letting developers make their games.
I agree so strongly, brother. And also, I'm glad they're finally legalizing Nintendo porn.
Yes,
which is what I took away from this.
Obviously, that community on Reddit is finally getting their shoutouts.
What, Nintendo waifus? Don't ask why I have that memorized by heart.
It's exactly what we're talking about here.
Exactly, and also my yaoi fanfic of Luigi X Mario canon now.
Starring Guigi.
Guigi? You mean finishing Guigi? An actual little bit more serious Nintendo news. The Nintendo Switch Lite was just announced. Mike, what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that are, I play my Switch docked mostly because I don't have time to be taking my stuff everywhere. The only place I go is to work. So,
where the real party's at?
Exactly. For me, it kind of just falls flat for me. I don't need it. I don't need a Switch that doesn't need a dock. And honestly, for all intents and purposes, I could just undock my Switch, take it with me. It's the same thing, except I can remove the Joy-Cons if I wanted to.
Yeah. I personally don't think I'm going to be picking it up myself, at least not anytime recently, since I just dished out so much money for the full Switch. But I am excited it's happening. Hopefully this kind of expands the market a bit. I do have one concern that because of this, they're going to be making more games with kind of limitations to fit with
to be limited to that screen.
Crowd. Yeah. So it'll be like less mainstay Nintendo games that you can remove the Joy-Cons from, or that are meant to be played docked. So I'm a little worried about that.
Honestly, I think my issue with it is that thing is still $200.
Yeah, it basically just chops off $100, which is the cost of the dock, anyways. So
yeah, oh, that's true.
So
I guess if they look at it like that by parts, yeah, that makes sense then.
What else? I'm also kind of worried about the lack of the HD rumble because I fucking love that shit.
Dude, the first time that I tried those Joy-Cons, that was the most amazing, like, mind-blowing thing to me.
Yeah,
was that you can actually feel where stuff is without actually holding it in your hand. That was amazing.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, those Joy-Cons are an amazing piece of technology, and I'm kind of surprised to see that Nintendo's... I don't think they're going away from it, but they're kind of going away from it.
Yeah, a little. We kind of got to see what these next upcoming games are like.
Yeah,
but I'm hoping it's not like what I think it is, and it's not doom and gloom. But I mean, the possibility's there.
I mean, honestly, what I think it's for is even going and taking a look at their special edition console that they have for it, Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Oh,
I believe that it is a throwback to, hey, you played this on the Game Boy Advance and the Game Boys and all of those things. Here's your handheld.
Yeah, which I mean, at the end of the day, I'm fine with it. Like, I have that one concern, but I am excited that more people hopefully are going to be able to play on the Switch.
Yeah, I think it'll give everyone another entry point to it with that $100 being kicked off. That is very true.
Yeah, so here's hoping. Here's looking at you, Nintendo.
Yep.
Let's see. What else has been coming up? Mike, you want to talk a little bit about that tariff issue that came up recently, correct?
Yeah, I understand now. It's a little bit later. As of right now, the tariff isn't a big issue because negotiations with China actually went really well.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that it's still on the table if anything ever does happen. And the reason this is going to hit the video game industry so hard is, if you're not aware, about 96% of consoles are made in China currently. Which
never would have guessed.
Yeah, that's not an insignificant number at all.
Also, 96% of everything is made in China.
Yeah. But it means that the companies like Sony and Nintendo and Microsoft that are making their consoles in those countries, basically they're going to be losing money even more so than they already do putting out these consoles.
Yeah, because consoles are sold at a loss, right?
Consoles are sold at a loss, and it also, at a 25% tariff, to put it in perspective, a console selling for $400, which is about what the norm is right now for the current generation of consoles, that instantly increases the price 25% up to $500. That's before tax, so you're paying effectively $600 for just your base console.
That's gonna alienate a lot of potential buyers.
Well, it would be the PS3 launch all over again. I don't know if you remember that, but that console did actually launch at $599 before they started cutting down the size and slashing the prices.
And no one gonna pay $600 for that.
No, and you shouldn't have either, because I mean,
yeah, of course not.
It had just as many problems as the Xbox 360. It was swept underneath that because the Red Ring of Death.
Because no one bought it.
Exactly.
So I just want to clarify, there was going to be a technology tariff from China to the US of 25%, which is what the whole situation was, correct?
Yeah, so our president, Donald Trump, was threatening China with tariffs because I think it was Huawei, is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, I think.
Huawei. They're a company that makes some phones that are actually pretty damn good phones, but they discovered that they could possibly have ways to access information and actually effectively be spying on you.
Ooh.
And I believe that was the biggest point behind this, and actually Huawei was outright banned for I think like a month or something like that in the US.
Yeah.
And it was all because of this, and that was why the negotiations were happening in the first place, so...
So it was a real my way or the highway situation. Anyways, that pun's done.
Here at Zikrar Gaming, you all heard it first. The best puns.
I was the first one to make that pun. Thank you very much. If you make it after this, you owe us 25 cents. But no, that would totally suck about the consoles being more expensive, and gaming is getting more and more expensive, like, overall, I think. So
we still don't have prices on this next gen. This next gen doesn't have any prices for us at all yet.
I'm betting they're going to be more expensive. If they really are future-proofing them, like we were talking about in a previous podcast, I think they're going to be a pretty good chunk more expensive, which I'm worried about already. But
I'm going to say it'll probably be like a low-budget gaming PC, like about $600-700, probably what we're going to be looking at with those kind of specs.
That's exactly what I was leaning towards.
I don't know. These new consoles have too much horsepower. There's no way they're going to be... They're not going to be cheap. No way.
No, not at all. And I'm excited for the advancement of technology and all stuff. I'm just, worried that it's not going to be as it's not going to profit as much as they're going to want.
No, honestly, it's going to be like TVs. How they always start off super kick-ass expensive, like $2,500 for a fucking LCD TV.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they figure out how to make the technology a little bit smaller and a little bit better, it gets easier to make, it gets cheaper to make, and then prices will start dropping from there. But I think this current generation is trying to kick off the next wave of gaming, so...
That's fair. Yeah. Speaking of kicking gaming... horrible transition, I'm not Zenin, sorry. G2A, here they're a great company.
Jesus.
For those unaware, apparently G2A is this kind of more or less shady website where you could buy video game keys for Steam or GOG, other stuff.
They work as a platform. It's similar to eBay. They're connecting a buyer to a seller. Problem is, a lot of these keys, not a lot of them, I guess it's a small percentage of them, but the ones with the biggest output that have been showing up recently like as recent as 2016 to 2018 ish,
Mhm.
before this next article started. They've actually been supposedly found to these keys have been purchased with stolen credit cards.
Oh.
So they hit quite a bit of controversy, and I think in 2018, I was just listening to a video from Inside Gaming on YouTube.
Mhm.
They cited an article in 2018 where a guy said, literally, this is a hacker from Brazil.
Uh-huh.
And he went and did an article. He did an interview basically, and said, "Yeah, G2A is the best place to sell stuff." He made like over $500 off of selling stolen keys that he hacked off of people's accounts.
Nice. I was glad to hear of cybercrime still being active.
Yes,
So,
but anyway,
my favorite part of this whole controversy, like you sent us an article, and I kind of read up on that.
Mhm.
And G2A stated that it was that there have been some positive reviews about them through some journalists,
Mhm.
and it's been discovered that G2A has been paying journalists to write positive things about them.
So it's actually no one actually took them up on it. They sent it out to, I think it was 10 companies.
Mm-hmm.
And this was basically a glowing review of what they do and what their business model is. That was written by an employee that works for G2A, and then sent to companies saying, "Hey, we'll give you money to show that you're not sponsored by us and have not affiliated at all, to publish this review that we wrote."
So it wasn't actually put out there; it was just offered.
Yeah, it was offered, and then one of the papers that they sent it to, or I guess not papers, online paper,
journals, whatever.
Yeah. One of them that they sent to actually posted the email online, and G2A had to basically go into full-on firefighter mode, like, oh my god, this was sent by a rogue employee, and he's going to face severe punishment because this is not a good look for a company, not at all. It
was sent by the Batman of G2A, single-handedly fighting bad reviews and honesty. No. You know what that's like? What? It's like when you're in middle school and like you're texting your crush and you like said, "I like you." Just kidding, my friend sent that. Could you imagine though? That's exactly what that reminds me of.
No, they're definitely just looking. In my personal opinion, they're looking for a scapegoat to throw under the bus, and that guy just happened to be there.
Did they even say a name? Because if not, I assume there isn't a guy there.
The articles that I read, I didn't see a name. I'm sure if I dug deep enough, I would find one. But
we'll see.
It's basically taking this shady company in the gaming world that sells potentially illegal bootlegged game codes, because from what I've heard too, a good number of them don't actually work either.
Oh, sweet.
But it's just taking this shady company, giving them something even more shady than what they already do, and then just dragging down all of their credibility.
Speaking of shady companies, that's a B+ transition. Epic Games. So they started refunding Shenmue backers. Just kind of throwing all the money around since the Shenmue Kickstarter said no refunds.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, Mike?
Honestly, my biggest thoughts on that are they're trying so hard to make it look like they have the goods, that they're the best place to buy games, and I think they're really just going about this the wrong way. I think it's cool that they're offering to refund if anyone wants a refund and whatever. That's cool. But at the same time, I just think that the developer of Shenmue should not have made the deal. He shouldn't have made the deal, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And they probably overloaded them with money, so I don't blame them for taking it. But it's still super shitty.
Honestly, they probably matched them dollar for dollar what they got from
probably
the crowdfunding.
More so, honestly.
Yeah.
I still definitely pisses me off to seeing Epic Games just like throw their money around and flex.
Yeah.
Like, look how much money we have. And that always rubs me the wrong way. And also Sweeney, the demon CEO on Fleet Street.
Yes, Sweeney Todd is catching on now.
Hashtag Sweeney Todd, CEO of Epic Games. I still think he's 100% full of shit when he talks about this being for the betterment of the game industry to get developers a bigger cut.
Oh, for sure, there's a money thing.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I'm like 90% sure that once Epic becomes like a proper competitor to Steam, like it's going right back to 70-30.
You gotta make your way to the starting line. You gotta get that god awful interface set up first before you even have a hope of catching up to Steam. So
I think their game plan right now is just to kind of get people to build a library on their launcher. Since people kids are being introduced to Epic Game Launcher through Fortnite, and now they can have all these other games. It's gonna be kind of like, I think I talked about this before, kind of like when we were young and we got it to Steam through Half-Life or Counter-Strike or Team Fortress. Yeah. And then we just built up our library there because, well, whatever, we already have it. I'm like 90% sure that's their plan currently.
I mean, also praise Gaben, but...
Oh yeah, also praise Gaben, Lord and Savior.
Oh my god, speaking of Fortnite, I was just... Huge segue, by the way. I was at the Anime Expo last week, and
definitely a four-wheeler,
the sheer number of Fortnite cosplays that I saw at the Anime Expo was staggering. I could not explain what I was seeing there, but yeah, that's my thoughts on Epic Games and their stuff.
Fuck, I'm still so jealous. You went to the Anime Expo. For viewers that don't know, I'm kind of a weeb. This might come as a shock. So I'm sorry if you weren't sitting. You're like, what?
Oh, speaking of that too, I actually got to get hands-on with a game that I personally have been waiting for a very long time.
Do tell. I have a good guess.
They had a Code Vein demo set up over there.
Do tell. How was it?
It would have been a lot more fun if my audio weren't linked to one of the other systems that was around me, because I would literally be standing there and there would be combat noises going on. But the gameplay itself, all of the attack animations, the transitions were really smooth.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it wasn't unfair. There were certain boss type characters, enemies that would attack me, and they had like their big ass sword. Mm-hmm. And whenever I missed a dodge, I never felt like I was unfairly being hit. I always felt like I was within a hitbox every time I got hit. Like I would dodge backwards and I would get hit by the edge of the blade, or I would dodge towards them, but they would do an attack where they actually spun slightly to actually hit me with it. I didn't feel like I was getting any ghost hitboxes or anything like that.
It's good. Yeah, that's definitely one of From Software's big pluses. Their games feel very fair for the most part.
Except when you're playing online, because then phantom hitboxes for days. But that's reliant on connection to other people. So
fuck online.
But it was honestly a lot of fun. They gave you a partner to play with. It's like a little. It was a in-game character that they let you play with. Their healing mechanic is interesting because if you take enough damage, whether your health bar hits 0 or if you just want to heal up a little bit, you can actually take health from your partner.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And use it to heal yourself. So,
if you think of when you're playing like a multiplayer game, and you run out of lives, you're like, no, take you one of yours, buddy.
Exactly. Like oh god, what did I used to do that in? Was that in Mario? Like Mario 64? I feel not 64.
No, that didn't have multiplayer.
Super Mario.
Mm-hmm.
I feel you could do that if your guys were dying, if I remember correctly. But you know what? It works in Super Smash Brothers. You can steal stock from your partners. It's very similar to that.
You totally steal a guy from your hubbies. Like,
Yeah.
okay, hold on. I'm getting back in the fight. Die immediately. Like, give me another.
But yeah, overall the game was fun. You were playing for if you could beat the boss that was at the end of the demo, you would win one of their limited edition G Fuels, which came with a special edition Code Vein shaker, which is currently selling by itself for $45 on eBay.
Oh, delightful. Did you manage to beat the boss?
No, unfortunately, with the disconnect in the audio, along with me just being bad that day, I don't know, but
along with my personal handicap.
Yeah, I couldn't manage to get super far. I got just before the boss, but I couldn't actually get to it. So
damn. Well, I'm really excited for Code Vein. I heard during was it the closed beta? People were complaining a lot about the animations. Do you think they've touched up on those, or are they the same?
Yeah, I actually watched the beta. I watched a lot of people play the beta. It seems like the animations have been cleaned up quite a bit since then.
Okay, that's really nice, because with anime aesthetic, I think they don't really have a good excuse to have shitty animations, because I think the normal traditional Soulsborne aesthetic always looks pretty smooth, and anime is probably way easier to animate.
What was great about it, too, is after you finished the demo, they had this huge-ass couch that was set up in front of a really gothic-looking background, because I don't know if you know this about Code Vein, you're essentially playing as a vampire. They don't call it that, but you're playing as a vampire.
Yeah.
But John and I actually got to go to sit in the couch, and they take a complimentary picture of you and give it to you, so it was kind of cool.
That's
and you get a cool keychain for it, too.
Oh.
And they had like a big old jumbotron above the area that they had the game, and they were playing a cinematic trailer for it on loop, and it was very, very anime.
Very cinematic,
to say the least. It was very anime.
I love it.
Yeah, that was the biggest. Other than that, the other news that came out, they are making One Piece Pirate Warriors 4.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. This is the same, what's it called? Series as Dynasty Warriors, Hyrule Warriors.
Yes,
I think they made Fire Emblem Warriors, correct? Yeah.
Yes, it is. And, oh my god, I feel like they announced... Digimon is getting a new,
Cyber Sleuth
add-on. Yeah, Cyber Sleuth. John and I made it into the panel for that, so we got to see the trailer while it aired before anyone else.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing.
That's a remake of one of the older games, correct? Or is it
It's a continuation of the Sleuth series.
Okay.
So
Did
it's going to be its
Sleuth series?
I did a long time ago.
Yeah, wasn't that the RPG Dungeon Crawler one?
Yes.
Yes, I enjoyed that one pretty thoroughly as a child. I don't think going back I would enjoy it now, but might be worth a shot.
No, the new one actually looks pretty good, though, from what they showed off in the trailer that they brought with us.
Well.
The other thing that they were saying, because they had a short Q&A at the end of this panel, they said if anyone expressed interest in it, they would be willing to port over as many of the old games as possible.
Oh, I'd expressed major interest in that.
Yeah, so everyone that's listening right now, if you have interest in the old Digimon games, you gotta get on that.
You gotta get on that Twitter and hit up Digimon people.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting on Twitter, C- segue, you can actually follow us on Twitter now at zigguratg at twitter.com, I believe. I don't know much about
correct.
Twitter. We also have a link there posted so you can join our public Discord server. What? Look at how advanced we are.
Oh, we've made some strides in the last couple of weeks.
We have made strides in this week and a half plus where we haven't done anything. So there you be able to chat with us, put recommendations for podcasts, reviews, all the like. We'll actually be posting our sources. Like all the articles we discuss on the show, we'll be posting those there for public review.
Go ahead and keep us honest, guys.
Yeah, make sure we're not lying through our teeth.
Yeah, we're definitely all for that here. The biggest thing is we just want to build up a community, maybe play some games with everyone. So
exactly,
have a good time.
You guys can appreciate our horrible memes.
Yes, exactly. The meme server is going strong.
Because boy, do I post some shitty ones. Alrighty. Is there any other news or releases you want to discuss, Mike?
No, I can't think of anything else that's been on my mind recently.
Yeah, it's been a little bit light lately. We've all been pretty busy. It was kind of why the late recording and also one member down recording.
Yeah, that combined with summer droughts, they happen. That's the point of the Steam sales, is to alleviate some of that. So
yeah, and with E3 just finishing up, not a whole lot going on.
Exactly.
Any games you've been playing lately?
I recently went back to Destiny to see what sort of changes that they made.
Mm-hmm.
Everything seems like it's better now. The barrier to entry that they used to have back when Activision was running with them was a little bit steep, and they've kind of made it so that everyone could be on a level playing ground, and the people that want to go above and beyond, they can. Mm-hmm. They haven't made anything a requirement, basically. If you don't feel like raiding, you don't have to raid. You can just sit in PvP if that's your thing. They've made a lot of changes, and I'm actually looking forward to the big changes that are coming with their new expansion coming out in September, I believe.
You were telling me about one of those big changes, and I think we're both equally excited for it. You said there was customized finishing moves?
Yes, Destiny is adding customized finishing moves. I haven't seen a whole lot on them yet, but I'm really excited to see where Bungie is going to take this now that they have complete control over their IP.
Yeah, thank God for that, because Activision is apparently kind of shitty. Who would have guessed within these past 10 years of meh games?
I know. I've never seen anything before because there was an article back when Bungie first split with Activision, mm-hmm. and apparently there was an entire conference room of employees at Bungie that were cheering and basically having a party as the split was happening. And I think that's unheard of.
Dad's gone. We can do whatever we want. Woo! Party at Sam's house.
Oh man, but no. I'm excited for them though.
I'm very excited to have fatalities in Destiny.
And other than that, I bought Shadowbringers, the new Final Fantasy expansion.
Oh, I would love many hours into it.
Oh yeah, I would love to do a review on this, but I haven't had time to play it yet. So when I get to that, you can expect that.
Yeah. I'm thinking about resubscribing to Final Fantasy 14 just to experience that, because people are dropping raving reviews. Raving in the good way.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard that this is honestly the best expansion to an MMO ever. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's true. I will judge that for myself, but from what it sounds like, they have added an entire Final Fantasy game into their MMO for Final Fantasy.
Yeah, weird. When you find Final Fantasy inside Final Fantasy.
It's pretty intense, though.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear more about that and maybe dive into it myself here in a bit.
Yeah. I will look forward to finding you there. But seriously, though, just
cat girl character.
Well, I'll have you know that I am a very cool-looking cat dude. Man. But that's all I've got going on. How about you?
So I actually recently bought myself a big old TV.
Nice.
And a PS4 to go along with it.
Very nice.
I mentioned off screen that I was hemorrhaging money, and this is why. So my old TV, I think it was 32 inches, that busted, and I don't watch a whole lot of TV. I just watch my anime and a couple games on the Switch that I play docked.
I understand. I stream everything,
so no real need for me to have a big TV. Yeah. And my TV broke. I called up a homie that knows a lot about TV. Like, hey, what do you recommend? Price range about $500. He was like, oh, I recommend this. He wants something with this, that. A little overwhelmed. Found a TV that met what he recommended. And I thought it was 50 inches. That's a bit big for me, but, I can treat myself. Ended up being 65 inches.
Very nice. So, did you have the space?
So I have the space, just not the furniture. So right now it's just sitting on the floor.
Get him out.
I thought
That's
about
where mine
it.
is. Mine's on my wall.
I don't know. I don't like the aesthetic of mounted TVs. Just me. I've always had them on like big old pieces of furniture, and I kind of enjoy that.
Yeah.
But so guys have a big old TV on the floor with a PS4 and a Switch right next to it.
Very nice.
Very, very low to the ground. Very zen. Very.
I'm assuming you're working on furniture next.
Yeah, that's another part of me hemorrhaging money. That's probably I was gonna go today, but I slept in till like 7 p.m., which was absolutely delightful.
For those of you that don't know, I think we've mentioned it before, but Pablo works all freaking day.
Yeah, I work all night.
Yes.
I work 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and I sleep during the daytime because I'm a fucking vampire for hire. Hold on.
Perfect. You're good for Code Vein.
Yeah. Vampire the Masquerade Pablo edition. But I've been playing a couple games. Now I have a PS4. I finally dipped into the Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight.
Very nice.
Which, on a 65-inch TV, when I'm used to playing on a 30-inch TV, very disorienting. So, it's a dancing game, and for those of you who aren't aware, or not dancing, rhythm, one half of the screen has 3 buttons, the other half of the screen has 3 other buttons, and you just press them in rhythm. And when you're used to being able to see your whole TV in one glance, it's really hard to see what's coming up on the right when you're looking on the left.
Gotta turn your head, man.
My neck hurts after playing, but it's worth it for Haru. Haru's my wife. Aside from that, I played the recent EA game, Sea of Solitude.
How was that? I haven't heard. I know it has decent reviews. I haven't heard a whole lot about it though.
So it's very artsy fartsy, and I'm a pretty big fan of that. Where like a video game tries to get a message across.
Yeah.
And it does send off a handful of pretty good messages, I think. But it kind of muddies its own waters with what it's trying to get across. And by the end, I was just like, what is happening? And the gameplay itself is pretty bare bones. Mostly just a platformer with a couple time challenges, like get across the river before the monster eats you. And grab this thing and drag it across here 2 or 3 times.
That sounds like a chore.
Yeah, it's short, so it's not too bad. Only about 4 hours.
No, that sounds like a fetch quest in an MMO.
Kind of, honestly.
Go here, do the thing, come back. Now go here.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, honestly. And there's a few things I liked about it. Like, some of the character interactions were pretty dope. And one of the lessons was like, it's okay to give up on people if they don't want help. Because that whole game was about dealing with depression, more or less, man. And loneliness. And you know what? I agree with that.
They don't want help. Fuck them.
Fuck them.
Kick them.
Bye, Felicia. Yeah, not your problem anymore.
Such good notes.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I thought it was an interesting little game. I probably wouldn't recommend it at the full price for $20. But okay. I don't know, 15 and less, I'd say it's probably good.
Okay. So it falls into the category of minute.
Yeah, kind of, actually. Wait to pick it up in a humble bundle and realize you have it 3 months later.
Exactly. Got it.
Alrighty. I think this just about wraps it up for this week's episode. Sorry it's a little on the shorter end. This was all decided kind of last minute.
That's alright. It's still a fun thing to do. We love being here, so...
We love being here. We love talking to y'all. Our 2 fans from Algeria, we love you more than you could ever imagine.
Appreciate you guys.
We appreciate everyone else too, but those Algerian guys, please just know what's up. Alrighty. That's just about it from me. I have been Pablo, your host.
And I've been Mike. Thanks for listening, everybody.
And Zen also sends out his love, I assume. Alright. Well, have yourself a good day. We love you. Ciao.
Later, everyone.